I grew up to a teenage mother. We didn't have a foundation of God at all. I was 13 the first time I tried alcohol and drugs, and 15 when I was heavily drinking, full-blown alcoholic. My parents terminated their parental rights and I became a warden of the state. I got pregnant very young with my oldest son at 18. At that point in time, I found out my parents found God through Southeast Christian Church, and that bothered me because I felt abandoned and alone, and I couldn't believe with all what our childhood looked like that they could just be better. When I was 26, I had come to the end of my rope of alcoholism and addiction. I was contemplating suicide. I was looking down the barrel of a 9mm, and it was like those foxhole prayers, like, give me one reason not to pull this trigger. And there was a knock on the door at the house I was at. It was my sister, and I could see in her face, like, she looked so scared because I was just so out of control. I don't think they were expecting me to surrender and like, yeah, I need help. They took me to Southeast Blankenbaker campus. The care ministry paid for me to go to rehab for 60 days. Alcoholism is a God-sized hole that you try to fill with everything but God, right? And so in early recovery, when I still wasn't fully surrendering to that idea, I used a man to fill that hole. I met him at a recovery meeting. He knew all the wonderful things to say to me that just swooped me off my feet. We very quickly moved in together. I got pregnant very quickly. I found out he was using drugs again. I was back into the can't believe this is happening to me again. It was straight back into the victim mentality. And I was going to do everything in my power to keep it hidden so that I could prove something different to everybody. I think shame was the driving force behind wanting to keep everything hidden. It's just all these lies in my mind that in the time I really believed them. That relationship became quickly very abusive, physically, sexually, emotionally, all of it. It was the darkest time in my life. I was broken down to nothingness. When my middle son was 2 months old, I found out I was pregnant again with my youngest daughter. Maya was born. And I remember sitting on the couch, feeding her. I remember very vividly looking down at her, and she was just so innocent and beautiful, this little girl. I remember feeling terrified. And there was something about a little girl, like just holding her. I never wanted her to go through anything that I was going through. I mean, I was at a place in my mind of like, either I wanted to die or I was going to be killed. Like, that was the severity of the abuse that I was enduring. I didn't want that for my daughter. And right, like underneath her head on the couch was a Jesus Calling book. And I knew in that moment, I was like, yeah, we're gonna go. And so I waited for a moment in time that it would be safe to get up and go. And that is what we did. It was me and all 3 kids in a diaper bag. We got in the car. I didn't have much gas and I only had like a couple dollars. And because I left so suddenly, my kids were hungry, my daughter needed to be fed, like, I really didn't know what to do. So that is why I chose to call my mom. I said, I left, we have nowhere to go. And all she said, she said, just come home. And my parents, it was a Thursday night, and they said, we're going to go to church. You want to come? I went to church, not really expecting to get much out of it. I was just so desperate. It was in the worship music. I remember standing there, super skeptical and timid and confused at the joy of all these people. And I started listening to this song, and it was a song, Same God. And I was like, okay, it's the same God whose favor rests upon the lowly, you know? And I remember going up to the altar, and all these walls that I had worked so hard to build up around me and my heart just came crashing down. Like I didn't even have a choice in the matter. It just crashed. And I remember feeling so blanketed with this love and this like overwhelming peace. It did not make sense. And I had a thought, and the thought was, just come closer, my child. And I knew that was Jesus. That was Jesus. Here I was in total brokenness, messy, suffering, miserable. My thoughts were so dark. How could I feel like this and think like this and feel that kind of love? I mean, it was so abundant. Somebody had put their hand on my shoulder. It was like, for the first time, my messy, my broken didn't scare the people around me, you know, and they didn't need to ask questions. They didn't. They just were beacons of light. The pastor told me, he said, this is going to help so many people. And he said it with like the most cheerful smile ever. Like, this is going to help so many people. And I was like, I will never use this to help anybody. I really thought I was like this unique case of pain and suffering, you know, because I was still bound by shame. And it was right after that, he said, hey, I got something for you. It was the Holy Bible, God's holy word. And I just remember standing there like I couldn't believe that someone thought I was worthy of a Bible. And I swear it was because of the belief of those people that I was like, I think I'm gonna read that thing. So I started with Matthew, and I just started reading through and just realized like the Gospels are the good news, you know? They're stories of redemption and resurrection and reconciliation, and then it all clicked for me. The truth of the word started resonating with my soul is when true healing really began. My kids get a present, sober mother. We're surrounded by awesome people. I was so riddled with fear and shame that I just didn't see how any of my pain was going to help anybody. Today, I am set free. I am made new. My thoughts have been transformed. I am a spiritual life coach for addiction recovery care at Eagle Creek. Now that I have allowed my pain and my past to be used for good, the highest good of the kingdom, I've had the privilege of baptizing over 50 women in the last 90 days. I get to go straight into the pits of hell with other people and say, hey, I will walk through this with you. We cannot do it alone, but I know a guy. His name is Jesus.